Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from Average Man Unplugged.
What I think would be good for you?
What?
Just buying a prostitute.
You know, that's honestly why rich guys buy prostitutes, you know, because it's like spending 5 hours going on a date with the girl and you might smash. In those 5 hours, I could have made $5 million. Prostitutes like $500. In that time, that bill was over there bullshitting. I could have got myself the finest Puerto Rican $500 hooker.
He's not wrong in a sense. Like, I think nowadays, according to Lord Destro, it's only $40.
Gotcha, bitch.
Dating isn't even fun anymore because so many men are concerned with what they are going to get in exchange for a plate of food. They can't even hold a decent conversation with you because they're more focused on if there's going to be dessert after dessert. And it's like, sir, I am trying to get to know you. You are a complete stranger. And that's why you see so many men suggesting these low quality, low effort, disrespectful, slap in the face ass dates, such as walk dates, coffee dates, whatever the fuck else stupid ass shit they'd be recommending so they can get out of paying some, not even real money, right? $100,
$100 is not real money, guys.
$100 because they feel like, oh, if I spend $100 on food, if I spend $200 on food, you owe me.
Or I can just go spend $40 and get what I want and not have to deal with any of that.
That's why these niggas is getting prostitutes these days. I'm just letting you know. A prostitute is $100. $150 if you want that bitch to do everything. Okay?
Yeah. You can't make this shit up, people. You cannot make this shit up.
And that's the other thing, right? Like, even though that there are prostitutes that are for about $100, $150, there's still simpy men out there that would not deal with a prostitute and would give thousands of dollars to a woman that doesn't even care for them. And that's the part that always confuses me with simps. And I'm not here advocating for you guys to go trick and, grab prostitutes or something. We're just pointing out, like, this is how much money and time and effort you're spending on women.
What's going on, YouTube? It is your boy Ron back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. So to piggyback off a video that I did a couple of days ago, that's actually doing pretty well. Women have made dating more like prostitution. However, I've been saying, I actually kind of predicted this. Kevin Samuels did, but I kind of doubled down on it myself. Because the trend that I was starting to notice when it came to women complaining about coffee, not wanting to do coffee dates and requiring, these extravagant first dates and Cheesecake Factory is, not acceptable, even though Cheesecake Factory ain't cheap anyway. I've been saying for the longest now, I'm like, dude, women are going to price themselves out to the point where getting a hooker or a prostitute is going to be cheaper than going on a first date.
This is filthy work.
Check this out, man.
Dating isn't even fun anymore because so many men are concerned with what they are going to get in exchange for a plate of food. They can't even hold a decent conversation with you because they're more focused on if there's going to be dessert after dessert. And it's like, sir, I am trying to get to know you. You are a complete stranger.
Yeah, what's the best way to get to know each other? By being inside you.
And that's why you see so many men suggesting these low quality, low effort, disrespectful, slap in the face ass dates, such as walk dates, coffee dates, whatever the fuck else stupid ass shit they'd be recommending so they can get out of paying some, not even real money, right? $100, $200 because they feel like, oh, if I spend $100 on food, if I spend $200 on food, you owe me.
Hey, you know what? I don't even necessarily disagree with what this lady's saying. I don't disagree at all. However, okay, so the premise of her argument is men are spending less money, if not little money, on dates because they do not want to get used, or they expect if they are going to spend the money, they want some sort of guarantee of box prior to the date. These things are true. However, let's go with, under that premise, This is a problem that can easily be solved, right? Now, this lady very specifically said, oh, it's only $100, $200. That ain't even no real money. If you want to remove the underlying premise from the date of you getting, them getting used for their money, and you having an expectation to give them some box, if you want to remove that premise, use your $100. Use your $200 to go on a date. You said you want to get to know them. Like, now I'm using your logic and repeating your words, right? You said you were there to get to know them. $100, $200 ain't nothing. You want to remove
or 50-50.
Remove the premise? Use your $200. Use your $100, and you can go on whatever date you want to go on. But see, you don't.
But we know they broke Dusty, Musty, Krusties.
Don't do that, because then then your thing is, oh, men want to be girl, men want to be gay. Well, which one is it? Which one do you want? Do you want to? Because your biggest issue is you don't want to feel like you owe them box at the end of it, and you want to go on a good date. Easy solution. Use your money. You're there to get to know them, right? It's a little bit of money. Do that. But you ain't gonna do that.
According to her, $100 nothing. Why does it matter if he pays or you pay if it's nothing?
And then, I mean, to be honest, you really got some nerve getting online saying this as if like this doesn't happen to dudes all the time. It doesn't happen to me, but it happened to dudes all the time. Like, I made a whole reaction video where a girl used the dude for a date, begged to pay for the Uber. Then I reacted to a whole other video where the girl used the dude for a $500 spa day. So like, this shit happens. So what dudes are doing, you can't be mad at it, right? So like, don't act like this is like, you know, like across the board, like girls are just so innocent and don't do this shit. So niggas, just what do you expect people to do? That's like on the flip side. If dudes was going out and kidnapping girls on dates, I think girls would stop going on dates, wouldn't they?
Right. But they don't. They're actually still scared of getting kidnapped and bad things happening to them all the time. But they still go on dates.
It was largely accepted for dudes to go on dates and kidnap the girl after the date. Would most girls keep going on dates? No, they would put in some sort of precautions to make sure they don't get kidnapped. It's the same thing. Dudes are just now putting in precautions to make sure they don't get used. Like I said, this don't happen to me because I can pick girls that like me. But other dudes, they not that skilled. So I get it. I get why they doing it. I know it doesn't benefit you anymore because now you can't necessarily get nice shit paid for, but you know, it sucks, but you gotta adjust to the time.
You owe me, and if you don't, you're using me. That's how sick and twisted these fucking men are. So it's like, yeah, I'd rather just not date, because the idea that a man is truly convinced that I would spend my day off that I could be spending with friends, family, or myself, that I would use my time, my energy, my makeup to sit across the table from him.
Well, obviously spending time with yourself is miserable. That's why you want to go on dates.
Just to get a free fucking meal is actually so wild and disturbing. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Save your...
She even said it herself. She's not doing it because she likes the guy. No, because she's getting a free fucking meal.
$100. Don't even worry about it. You're okay.
See, at that point, she just being disingenuous. This is a well-known fact. Girls get on TikTok all the time and post shit about how they use dudes for dates. So for you to get on there and say that is insane, number one. Number two, who told you don't have to put on makeup? This is one thing that I truly do despise about the sum of the female gender. Some girls truly feel like their time is more valuable than yours.
Yep.
Some.
Well, and remember, a lot of women just think they're more valuable than men in general in all aspects.
Some girls truly feel like their time is more valuable than yours. What makes your time more valuable? You know, the dude has to take his time, go out his way, drive out his way to see you too. You do know that, right?
Pay.
I don't know what type of dudes that she associates with. Not really quite sure. She seems like the type that attracts a lot of tricks, but like a man's time is just as valuable as your time. So where that premise comes from, and you have to spend your time and put your makeup on, hey, he got to do not the makeup, but he got to do the same thing. He got to spend the same amount of time looking at you, talking to you, coming up with interesting shit to say to you. You know what I'm saying? So like that. Y'all had to stop this shit. And dudes, y'all gotta get some more self-esteem, man. Y'all have to date girls that like you. then you wouldn't even be going through this. You wouldn't even have to entertain this if you just talk to girls.
That's why we always say it. Find a girl that likes you.
That like you. You can go on all the free dates you want. A girl that's going to be happy to be there. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with taking a girl on a nice date. Make sure the girl like you first, though. Don't try to find out on the date whether the girl like you, because you're going to end up with somebody like this.
Happy to see you young brothers are learning. Happy to see you young brothers are learning, because he has said some things about this that I have already said ad nauseum on this channel. If women, I've said this before, if women really wanted to take the expectation of sex off the table, and men thinking and being concerned about being used for free dates, just go Dutch on a date. Just go Dutch on the date.
This is why Europe doesn't really have this issue. They kind of go Dutch on most of their dates.
This is how I know a lot of women are dating men that they're really not that into and they really don't like, bro. That has to be the case.
Yep.
Because if that's what women are so concerned about, all they have to do is just go Dutch on the date and they'll be fine. That would alleviate everything.
It's like they go on a date being so scared of being used. I was like, then don't go on this date of a guy that you don't like, because you don't feel that way if you actually like him. Everything
that she complained about would be eliminated if women would just quit being cheap or broke, for that matter. Yeah. I think most of y'all broke. Dusties. For real. That's why y'all stress this shit so much. And my thing is this: if it's just a little $100, if it's just a little $100, $200, why the hell ain't none of y'all spending it? $100? You mean to tell me you ain't got 50? I'm like, you that cheap or you just that broke?
They broke, dusty, musty, crusties, Rom.
I'm like, and then that's the other thing, bro. Y'all want men to spend this type of. And peep this, bro. She contradicted the shit out of herself. On one hand, this woman said, "I'm just getting to know you, sir. You're a stranger." Well, I'm just getting to know you, ma'am, and you're a stranger. Why the fuck should I spend that type of money on you? God. This is why I think they are slow, bro. They do not listen to themselves speak.
Well, it's the accountability part, Rome. I think anything that has to do with taking fault or understanding what they said is wrong doesn't compute in their brain.
So they just, bro.
That's why these niggas is getting prostitutes these days. I'm just letting you know. A prostitute is $100. $150 if you want that.
Again, prices have gone down, boys. $40 according to Lord Destro. You can probably get one for $40.
That bitch to do everything, okay? $150 can't even get you a good dinner with a bitch. Okay, she want to go to the dinner. She want 5 drinks. She wants to go to the club afterwards. You gonna spend $500 on a date.
True.
At least 3 if you trying to impress her. Well, you could just buy a bitch for $100. Oh, bitch, I'm going to that. I'm going to a prostitute too.
This is why I say I totally understand why men go that route. I don't think it's really that bad of a route. You know, yes, it's tricking whenever you're paying for it, but look at the other alternative, guys. Deal with women, deal with false accusations, deal with being called a creep, deal with being used and abused, deal with spending all that money anyways and not getting anything back.
Sorry, bro, but you know it's bad when a woman is like, oh, nah. If I was in the men's shoes, I was like, the way y'all over here talking, I would just get a prostitute too. Because think about it, bro. You're going to spend $100, $200 on what might end in a hug and a kiss at best, but for the same price, you can literally do whatever you want, get the happy ending that you're looking for, and you ain't got to worry about following up. You ain't got to worry about any arguments, any headaches, none of that, bro. You feel me? And it's
none of the false accusation stuff, none of the changing my mind about consent stuff.
All about you. This is what happens when you raise your standards to so much to the point where you price yourselves out. It would be a lot different if women were raising their standards on how they're being treated. But their idea of raising standards on how they treat it is how much more money a man is spending on them to get to know them. And I'm the reason why I'm doing that is because I still find it humorous that this bitch had the nerve and the audacity on one hand to sit over here and say they expect something just because they spent $100 or $200, but in that same breath gonna sit over here and say I'm just trying to get to know you and you're a stranger. Yeah, I ain't too much of a stranger to spend $100, $200 though. Fuck out of here, bitch! You crazy as hell.
Ladies, y'all say men don't want to be serious anymore. That all we want is sex. No commitment, no effort, no dates. But here's the twist. Men, stop fighting it. You said I'm not giving wife energy to a man who's not my husband. And men said, cool. I'm not spending husband money on a woman who ain't my wife. Fair exchange, right?
Yep.
Women started charging for access, dinners, trips, cash app, charging for attention. So men said, bet. I'll just pay for what I actually want then. You turned dating into a business and men just became the customers. You thought telling a man, if you can't afford me, leave me alone.
Remember, you turn it into a business, but there's other businesses out there that are better priced with better looks.
It hurt his ego. Nah, you realize it's cheaper. Why take on 5 dates? Why take a woman on 5 dates, get ghosted, argue over text, when a man can just spend less money and skip the headache altogether?
Yep.
You said men only want sex, but when you made everything transactional, you taught men they don't need love to get what they want.
Yep.
Now men stop chasing love.
This is so true. Damn, this gentleman right here. This gentleman put it real down, right? Because there's no love, why are we chasing it, right? There's no chasing it anymore. We can just get sex without love and commitment. That's what we're there for.
They're chasing peace. They're emotionally unavailable, as you call it, and financially smarter. So no, ladies, men haven't lost. They just adapted to the new rules that you wrote. You turned intimacy into a business. Men just learned how to shop better.
Yep.
This is King Speak. Follow me if you can handle the truth. Because I don't argue with feelings. I speak facts.
My man.
And he is exactly right. Which is why you're seeing women bitching and complaining about men going overseas, or whether they staying in state and they're just deciding to participate in P for P in that manner, whether you're doing it overseas or you're doing it in the United States. Either way, all it's doing is just making things harder for the women that are actually seriously trying to date.
Yep.
But the problem with a lot of these women is that they're asking for the same price of the women that are willing to give you what you want.
It's not even asking for the same price, Rome. They're asking for even more, according to that lady. If it's only $100 to $150 and they want $200 just dates? Yeah.
Off the rip. Like, you know what you're paying for. So, once again, like, I think women are slowly but surely pricing themselves out. And like the brother said, the men are just adapting and moving accordingly and realizing that they're actually saving money
that we are
doing the P for P more so than actually dating, because these women's standards, especially for first dates, is just outrageous, bro.
Part 2 from my video about when should a woman start contributing to a date, and when should she start paying. And I think the whole premise of this is that there is no one answer, right? The whole thing, that learning I had from this conversation with my friend, is that we all have different life values and also our beliefs when it comes to money. We also it's not even about values. It's about where you are in your lifestyle choices and the lifestyle that you want to live. And that also manifests in the way that you treat money, you spend money, you save money, you touch money, how you think about money, right? So I think money, I understand. I come from an immigrant childhood, immigrant family. I used to be very, very sensitive about money because I didn't have any. I grew up not with much. I had debt until I was like 26, and then the pandemic actually liberated me from my student loan debt because of the interest rate freeze. However, I grew a more positive relationship with my money where I didn't really see it as something like, oh, I'm never gonna have it. I still have insecurities when it comes to money because I don't have a lot of it. I know I can provide, and I know I will make, and I thus spend where I want to spend because I want to be not beholden to my money. I don't want.
So you just do whatever you want with your money.
To
go around in circles and just to say, I spend how I want.
My money. So fast forward, what I've learned through this whole experience dating this man is that I think that's one of the questions I actually asked. And he didn't really give me a great answer. I asked him, it might be because like maybe it was like too deep of an answer or maybe it's too sensitive, but I did ask him, hey, like, what's your relationship with money? And he gave me like a very like, oh, you know, I like to budget. I have my money where I spend for certain things, yada, yada. I also don't know why this is like looking darker. But anyway, I think that is the takeaway of this entire conversation. It's not about, is there a right date in which the woman is supposed to pay? It's more about how you think about money. And I think it shows you a lot about where you align in terms of your beliefs about money and your life.
You literally just said nothing.
Lifestyle, because I think that's the other thing. I'm at a point in my life. I am 33. I have my preset ways, and the older we get, the more hardened our beliefs become and our routine. And I think this is one of those moments where I'm like, maybe this isn't the right fit. And it's a shame because, you know, he's a nice guy. However, I think this is a big issue. This is like a hardline issue for me because I don't want to be someone who always feels like we have to be counting pennies or.
If you're not making enough money, then yeah, you always got to count pennies.
So strict with money because like that's just not my belief when it comes to it. I think that is the big takeaway that I learned from my conversation with my friend last night.
So he's responsible with money. I don't like it. I want to be able to spend whatever I want.
So let me know your thoughts in the comments.
So basically you come from an immigrant family that didn't have nothing, and then you came to America, got westernized, and once you started making a little money, you pretty much adapted the same mentality that Westerners, especially Western women, have.
Yep.
And essentially you're really not that much different.
Nope.
At least that's what I got from it. But y'all let me know what you think.
You know, she pretty much just went around saying thousands of words almost just to say, oh, I'm a gold digger, right? Because I want to be able to spend as much as I want. I want a man to be able to not control my spending and let me spend whatever I want. I don't want a man that is, you know, smart, reasonable, and budgets his money and is very smart with his money. No. I want him to be able to just spend all of it and be a dumbass and go into debt because I'm a gold digger. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.